Hi YouTube, and this is JTrain997, and I'm back this time with my review of the Marvel Legends Wave 2, the Marvel Madames, and of course this is both Madame Masque and Madame Hydra. Of course they're variants in the line. Not only are they 50-50 split, they also come with a variation on the Collecting Connect piece. Of course it's the main torso of Zola, but as you can see, the Madame Masque one has Zola's head. Now Madame Hydra one obviously has Red Skull's head. Other than that, they do come with the same accessories. They both got the they're both reissued guns from the previous Legends figures they've released, mainly the 2-packs. However, they did tweak the paint on each one ever so slightly. The back of the packaging is the same on both. It's just got a picture of them together. And it says, "Beware, fear, terror, and violence are the calling cards of these villainous vixens." Down here you've got the other characters in the wave. So, enough being said about the packaging, let's open these ladies up. And here we have both Madame Masque and Hydra out of packaging. Now real quick, their respective Collecting Connect Build-A-Figure pieces. Of course, Red Skull and Zola. Now there are some variations on other pieces, mainly the Wrecking Crew. Of course, you've got the red dot head, which goes on Skull. Popping that on right there. That doesn't want to quite pop on. There we go. So, and of course the yellow dot, which of course goes with Zola. And get that one on. There we go. When I first heard about this, I didn't know if it was going to be just a pop-out faceplate or what, because they are exactly the same. Other than that. But you know, nice little switch up. Great way to get us to buy a lot of these double figures. Now on to Masque and Hydra. They are pretty much the exact same figure with a tweaked head sculpt on Masque. Or I guess a tweaked head sculpt on Hydra, depending on which one you're looking at. Of course, very nice detail. I'm really surprised they got the paint lines so clear around the edges of her mask. Over here, I think they really did a great job. You can see kind of the green shading on her eyes there. Really nice, bright, glossy green on her lips. And on each of their respective costumes, again, especially I think on Masque with the blue wash on her white outfit, really makes it stand out. So, zoom back out here. They do have the same weapons, but as I've already said, each one does have a slight paint variation. Of course, you can see there, green and gold on the guns, green on Madame Hydra's rifle. Still not big on this gun. Of course, the standard kind of white, grayish paint on hers. That was one of my big things. Wasn't too crazy to see them reusing guns so early in the line. I know on top of that, we already got, I think, Blade in Wave 3 comes with like a tweaked shield agent gun. I think they just sculpted a stake in the end of it. So, I'd definitely like to see, better, more original weapons, for each character, but that's not the end of the world with these. Now, seeing as their articulation is exactly the same, we'll just be reviewing one of them. I guess Masque. I seem to like her better anyway. Now, the hair sculpt has pretty much permanently frozen it in place. It appears to be on a ball joint. You get a little bit of left and right, but not a whole lot. The arms are still pretty free. On a ball joint, obviously, up and out and do a full 360. Bend and spin at the elbow, and spin at the glove. No actual wrist joint. Of course, they got a torso joint there. Does a full 360, full ab joint. Very nice crunch. No actual waist joint. Legs on a ball joint, they go out, not too much forward and back, spin right there at the quadricep, double joint at the knee, and have an ankle joint, which does not appear to have a pivot. So, the articulation on these is it's adequate, but once again, it's kind of a base line of articulation that we were getting in the 2-packs, and I was hoping with this line we'd be stepping up from the previous quality. Now, don't get me wrong, these are both great figures. I found Madame Masque a few times at retail. I actually had a friend pick up Hydra for me. I was just hoping we'd be moving up, and I understand that toy companies have got to cut costs, but seeing different weapons, a little variation on the sculpt, which I guess we did get in the head sculpt, would be nice. Oh, and also, I didn't even notice that on both of their belts they have a little slot, a holster for their pistol, which looks like it functions. That's kind of cool. That's definitely neat. I can't remember if those were on the old shield agents or not. But either way, Wave 2 is kind of hard to find at retail right now, especially a couple of the figures like Masked Wolverine and Big Time Spider-Man with his green glow outfit. I still think these are both definitely a pickup if you're a Marvel Legends fan. There's a lot of reused parts on these, but they still equal out to be great figures. And that being said, this is JTrain997 saying I'll see you soon, YouTube.